It is okay, so it is 9:04. This is Friday, May 29th. This is a meeting of the MPO Transportation Policy Board. Let's please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Correct. Oh, that's true. So just FYI, so if anybody goes to the restroom, we do lose quorum, so just take note of that. Is anybody signed up for public comment? Okay.
The bike rider guy.
Plenty of trees outside.
Okay, first up, we have Mr. Mike Rooney.
Let Mr. Hebert go first, if you want to play.
Juanito.
Okay. Mr.
All right, thank you, Colonel Mike. He did give me permission to go ahead of him. I do have a graduation ceremony going on right now at another campus. So I do want to, believe it or not, I do want to try to be brief. I've distributed, my name is John Ibert, aka Juanito Ibert, aka Biker John. I am an expert bicyclist. I have over 100,000 miles, 160,000 kilometers pedaling experience, both commuting and touring. And I feel like I'm beating the drum. I know you've heard me before. We are the hidden gem of the world. We are the crossroads of North America, anchored by El Paso, Las Cruces, and Ciudad Juarez. Constantly, I am assisting and working with people from around the world who are taking this southern transcontinental route across the USA, whether it's from the Pacific to the Atlantic or Atlantic to Pacific. Most recently, I just was working with a retired couple from Germany. I met them at the hostel in Marathon, Texas. And I said, okay, this is what you need to do. When you get to exit 172, Fort Hancock, Spur 148, get off of Interstate 10. For those of you who don't know it, Interstate 10, it's a great road, I love it. The shoulder is wonderful for pedaling, except between Fort Hancock and El Paso. Between Fort Hancock and Horizon, actually. The shoulder is extremely rough, and I can't describe it other than that I'll never pedal it again, and I don't recommend anybody pedal it, because all you have to do is pedal it once and say, never again will I ever do that. That's why I'm proposing that we have a signed marked route from that exit. We should have a sign, and I realize that's in Hudspeth County, but the El Paso MPO covers that also. They're saying all bicycles exit here. And then we have the bike route signs saying this way, going this way up Texas 20, Alameda, until they get to Faven, then taking 258, the Socorro Road over through San Eli, going through San Eli, Glorieta Road out back to the Mission Trail, and then on through El Paso. It is a kind of a little bit of a winding. It is residential, it is business, but when they get downtown, now they're faced with crossing the west side. There are only two routes through right now. Paisano, US 85, and Mesa. Now, Mesa is by far the worst road in El Paso for bicycling. By far, it is the worst road. It doesn't mean you can't pedal it. I have taken my life into my own hands there. And I have survived 3 collisions with motor vehicles. I don't want a 4th one. And I especially don't want it on Mesa. So Paisano, US 85, is the most reasonable, most logical route to take, because you take that Paisano, and we're going west, you get the racetrack exit, take racetrack, go underneath 85, you get on Donovan. Donovan is a wonderful road. It is already marked as a bike route. And it's a straight shot up to Las Cruces from there. With the exception of when Anthony, New Mexico, you've got a roundabout and you've got to make, you take 478. 478 is a very good road for bicycling. The shoulder's a little crumbly in many places, but I've pedaled it many times. I love it. And then you get into the Cruces. Las Cruces is actually more bicycle friendly than El Paso. And part of that has to do with the fact that they're a much smaller community than El Paso. But it is extremely bicycle friendly up there. Something El Paso, I think we can learn from them on that. And one of the reasons that I'm pushing New Mexico 478 is because New Mexico 28, which is a very popular route for people bicycling, is not a good road. I've pedaled it a couple times. I kind of treat it like I-10. I've pedaled a couple of times. I don't want to go back on it. It is a narrow country road that is rapidly becoming a suburban road. It is not built to handle, what did they have, 1,200 people on the Chili Pepper bike ride, I think? That road is not built for it.
Mr. Iberg, if you could wrap up, we need to have equitable time for everyone.
Okay, yes, I did say I would be brief, didn't I? I have included here, most of you have seen this before, but I've also included the rankings put out by the League of American Wheelmen. Texas is ranked number 30, and it gives you all the criteria there. New Mexico, on the reverse of that, is ranked number 40 in terms of bicycling. I've also included number 1 for you, so you get an idea. What does number 1 look like? Washington State, number 1. In 1982, I was pedaling up in Canada. I put 1,000 miles on Vancouver Island, and I went up in like October. When I came back down in December, and I was talking to the Border Security, they said, "Oh yeah, you can just take the shoulder of I-5." Wow, and that's really productive. Then on the back of that is Missouri, where I'm going to go spend a couple of months because I am executor for my mother's estate. So I'm going to spend June and July, roughly the same amount of time as when I took her overseas last year. So I strongly encourage you, when we are rebuilding, redeveloping the roads, specifically US 85, when they've completed the Yandell 1966, that construction's been completed, it's worse for bicycling and pedestrians now. And part of that is because those orange construction barrels are no longer there, traffic's not all being saved. We need to at least post it, make it known that this is for use by non-motorized vehicles as well. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Sure. Thank you for your comments.
Thank you
I
very
really
much,
appreciate it.
and I continue doing a good job.
Thank you, Mr. Iberg.
Thank you, Mike.
Next, we have Rachel Friday. Mr. Rooney. Whichever you, Mr. Rooney, since you're at the podium, go ahead.
Okay, even though I wasn't here last month, and after all these years of coming to your meetings, thanks for giving me legacy credit. I'm glad it was an honor that I was missed. I had gone home to Yuma, Arizona for my 55th high school class reunion. I want to thank City Manager Gonzalez and his deputy Kurt Finstemacher. I want y'all to know for the last 2 months my old man's health walks have been really pleasant, especially on Breckenridge. And as I walk past the front of Pebble Hills Elementary School, it's nice not to see that dog crap. So thank you. And I want to thank Representative Pickett. After the Texas citizens, voters approved last November that transportation funding initiative, I asked him, well, why couldn't since we're going to get all this new road money, why couldn't we take the toll off of the present interior lane on the border highway that goes through the lower valley? And he came back and he said it's possible, there's no debt. Mr. Bielik said, unfortunately, in an email, that money from that initiative can't be used in that manner. And then the county added $10 each year to our vehicle registration fee. And through Representative Pickett's hard work and others' work in Austin, there's apparently going to be another transportation funding initiative on the ballot in November. So and I understand from Representative Pickett, it's in the city's power to remove that current toll. So let's reward the voters and especially the citizens of El Paso who support your initiatives. Take that toll off of the current toll off of the border highway through the lower valley. And that's it. And thanks for missing me last month.
Thank you, Mr. Rooney. Next, we have Ms. Rachel Friday.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Rachel Friday, and I just recently partnered with TechServe, or DBA of Dallas County Schools, on a project that is coming our way to our region. And it involves getting more focused on the safety of our kids as they load and unload buses at all of our schools throughout our whole region. There is a large number of motorists that day by day ignore the traffic laws, which include stopping when there is a bus with a stop arm open and their amber lights on when there are kids loading or unloading as they get to school or coming back from school going home. And Dallas County has currently right now a pilot in our area, Socorro ISD, that has a camera system on their buses to try and monitor these motorists that continuously ignore our current law. It'd be impossible to have a police officer at every stop citing when a vehicle ignores the law. So this is a way that we could combat several things. One, keep our students safer, out of danger at these stops. We would also be able to get motorists to become a little bit more responsible when they're out on the road. There have been many accidents throughout the state, and Texas is not the only one who has a program like this. What's nice about this program that is cost free to the city and the district. As a matter of fact, it would actually be a revenue source that would generate money back to the city and the district. The program is self-supported, and just to give you a brief few figures of statistics, the National Association of State Directors for People Transportation did a survey in 2014. On that survey, 29 different states participated, including Texas. Of that survey, over 97,000 buses were surveyed. And on that one particular day, during that survey, a total of 75,900 violations occurred in that one day. That is a huge number. Our pilot at Socorro is still not at its final stage, and we looked at some of the footage, which right now it's still kind of still in the works, but one particular bus at one stop had 5 cars ignore the stop arm and just pass through without making that stop, putting those kids at danger. That was just one bus at one stop, not his entire route, which is, again, very alarming. And so we we hope that we can provide a little bit of a longer presentation to your board at the June 19th meeting, 10 to 15 minutes, that's all we ask for. That'll give you a little bit more information, but I just wanted to introduce myself, let you know a little bit about it, and hopefully we can all work toward bringing this program and keeping our kids safer as they go to school or come back from school. Thank you.
Chair, I have a question.
Yes.
Is that okay? Do you represent a vendor?
Dallas County Schools is a government entity. I am working with them on this particular project. They do a DBA of, which is tech serve. And the reason they do that is because when people hear Dallas County Schools, they immediately think Dallas ISD. Dallas County Schools is a government entity that originally started as an ISD in Dallas about 150 years ago. As the county started growing, ISDs began to grow and pop up.
No, I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm just wondering if you represent a vendor.
Dallas County Schools, a government entity, yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for your
Thank you.
comments. Thank you. Next up, we have Mr. Scott White.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott White with El Paso Bicycle Pedestrian Coalition, and I want to welcome you to your new house here. It's a lovely facility, even though if it's a little cramped in certain ways. But it just makes you have to think inside of the box instead of outside of the box sometimes. I was really hoping I was going to get to come down here and use the bike parking. We were told there was going to be some here, and it just points to one of the challenges that people have sometimes when they're working on trying to make venues more walkable and bikeable is there's a lot of red tape in the processes. And I'm hoping that we can help streamline that process. And I can offer one suggestion. It is already in the Paso City Code. There is the option of replacing the one parking space at a venue and put in what's called a bike corral, which can hold from 6 to 10 bike racks, parking for that many bikes, and it becomes a sign that says we want other people to consider other forms of transportation, not just always thinking you have to drive here, but mean to people who want to walk or bike. It's already a solution that's out there, and if the other process can't be made to work, the option is already there. I want to thank you again. Welcome everybody.
Okay, thank you very much for your comments. And that concludes public comment. Was there anybody else who signed up or who had wanted to speak or address the policy board? Okay. Moving on to the executive director's report.
Good morning, board members. Mike Mina with the El Paso MPO. About a year ago, the New Mexico DOT, along with the Texas DOT, in working coordination with the MPO, had developed a draft proposals for the federal functional classification system. So this year, the New Mexico DOT has come about and approved the New Mexico component of the federal functional classification system. And so before you should be a map that illustrates the types of classifications that are now currently active in our area. The importance of this functional classification system is that it allows us to identify accessibility and mobility of these facilities, and also it provides a revenue source by the federal government to move and maintain these projects as they come along. We anticipate that TxDOT would get the approval this summer as well. So if there's any questions based on the New Mexico federal functional classification map. Moving along, the second item is that we are developing the 2016-2017 Unified Planning Work Program. And if you remember, this is a 2-year planning activity document that we illustrate to the policy board along to the public and our federal partners in the planning activities that we're going to do in the next 2 years. So before you is a timeline of comments that we need to address in terms of getting it to the public, along with appropriate milestones to ensure that everybody has an avenue to comment on these projects. So if anybody has any questions about the UPWP. Then we had asked that item 3C be postponed.
Okay. Do we need a vote on that?
It's just a report.
Okay. All right, good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 4 is items for discussion and action. Approve the minutes for the April 17th, 2015 TPB meeting.
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 5, the appointment of Steve Norwood to the Executive Committee.
Second.
So motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 6, amend the fiscal year 2014-2015 Unified Planning Work Program to add subtask 5.3 Camino Real, Tierra Adentro, planning and environmental linkages, studying the amount of $2 million of New Mexico funds.
To the chair, there was a request by Mayor Perea to postpone this item for the next policy board meeting.
Okay.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to postpone. All in favor? Any opposed? Item number 7, amend the Horizon 2040 Metropolitan Transportation Plan.
Good morning. Good morning. Irene Ramirez, TPAC Chair. Item 7, at our May 6th meeting, the TPAC voted to recommend to the TPB that you program the Racetrack Drive Sidewalk Project, which was funded through various funding sources. Because of that, it's a new project, and we're asking you to program it into the TIP and the MTP.
Move to approve.
Okay. There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next item.
Item number 8.
Number 8, amend the Horizon 2040 Metropolitan Transportation Plan.
8A is to program a new project, the pavement preservation project. Again, recommending that you program this, amend the MTP and the TIP to program this new project. And then item B is amending an existing project, the Southern Doña Ana County Bridge Replacement Project, to remove one of the 3 bridge locations. We have representatives of New Mexico DOT here if you have questions.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, there is a motion and a second to approve item number 8. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Item number 9, approve the following actions for the use of the Federal Transit Administration.
Again, at our meeting on May the 6th, the TPAC voted to recommend to you to approve awarding the remaining FTA 5310 grant funds to Sun Metro as the loan applicant, and program the remaining funds in the MTP and the TIP, with Sun Metro as a subrecipient in the amount of $1.394 million.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to approve item 9. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 10, approve requests to excuse absent TPB members from the meeting. We obviously have the state delegation, and we are lighting candles for them, and this is in their final stretch. That we also have requests from from Commissioner David Garcia, Mr. Doolittle, Mayor Rick Avalos, Mayor Javier Parea, Mayor Castañeda, and Representative Courtney Nyland.
Motion to approve.
And did I miss any? I think that was everyone.
I know, here, raise your hand.
Okay. There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Monthly reports. I don't have any reports for this month. The next meeting of the TPP is scheduled for 9 a.m. on the 19th day of June at the El Paso MPO office located at 211 North Florence, Boardroom Suite, first floor. Is there a Motion to.
Motion to adjourn?
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait up.
Second.
The chair is that we have new members that are sitting in the policy board.
Oh, okay. Yes, I wanted to, yes, we do have, before we do conclude, I do want to say, we have Mr. Mayor Rick Avalos from Clint, who couldn't be here today. He did plan on being here, but had a last-minute emergency. We also have Mayor Lerma from the, Mr. Clint, welcome. And then serving as a proxy for Mr. Doolittle, Mr. Harold Love. Thank you for being here today. Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
This is a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?